My name is Gwandile Sikosana, founder of Rudo Institute.
And I'm Sarah Madingwana, the founder of Rudo Institute as well.
Together we are co-founders of this wonderful institution. And basically, Sarah will just give you a theory of change of what we do and what we're all about, because I tend to forget some of the words.
Oh, okay. So Rudo Institute is let's start with the word Rudo. Rudo is a Shona name, which means love. So we put in a lot of love into this initiative of building Rudo Institute in the education sector. So Rudo Institute basically is a technical, vocational and higher education institute situated in Daveyton. And essentially, we believe in a world where everyone has equal access to affordable vocational, technical, and higher education, right? But the reality right now is that Ekurhuleni is the fourth largest municipality in South Africa with a population of over 3 million people, but only 38% have grade 12 and only 11% of them have higher education. So as Rudo Institute, what we're really trying to do is to bridge that gap.
Yeah, so a bit of background of who we are. Both Sarah and I, born and raised in Daveyton. We lived in different spaces within South Africa, and then we came back to the township to only find that the situation is still as we left it. Not much development was being done, and also we had the privilege of going to what other people would call Model C schools. But then your friends sort of like come from disadvantaged communities and schools, so they don't have the privileges that you have when you're at school or whatever the case may be. So then we asked ourselves, what can we do to ensure that we change the face of townships, the narrative around development in these types of areas, and also youth-led development. Because sort of like young people need to create the agenda of development, of what like development looks like in the eyes of young people. Because if we continue to let adults or older people dictate what development looks like, we'll sort of like find in townships where Daveyton, where you'd find a bicycle track. Who said we wanted a bicycle track? But if young people were in the forefront, they would have said, no, instead we need a swimming pool that's as big as the one you'd find in an Olympic competition. Then also like have these things that we need for us to develop as a society. So as young people, both Sarah and I, we went around looking for solutions for townships. What can we do? And then we sort of found out that an institution of higher education and training is necessary for people living in townships. A lot of people don't have matric. They need matric. How can we then as an institution enable them to get matric through our institution and also afford them competitive advantage when they're in the labor market?
Yeah, I think also another thing like that sort of inspired the work that we do was really because we were just tired of having to take 3 taxis just to get to college or university. It was so frustrating. We would be stuck in a metro rail train just to get down to submit an application to say, this is my application, I need a job. So that kind of frustration that both Gwandile and I have experienced, like we don't want the next person to experience that, So Sati Rudo Institute, it's going to literally be a resource hub where everyone has access to opportunities, resources, whether it's printing facilities, whether it's Wi-Fi facilities, whether it's education facilities. That's what we do. So the course that we offer, a business development, which covers new venture creation, entrepreneurial law and financial planning, which is a 5-day course that students get to study for. It's NCAF level 4, and then they'll then get their certificates after a month of graduation. And then we also have a library where students can also borrow books. We also have master classes, book reviews. We're sort of trying to create a community of young leaders in townships who do things purposefully, and consciously.
And also, like in the last 5 years of working within the educational space, it's not nice or it's not ideal for you to continuously be the first person the first person to be in the African Union, the first person to be in the British Parliament, the first person to do all these things, yet people who are like you, coming from the same areas, could be the first, but they don't have the opportunities that you have. So how do we then create an ecosystem where through the institution we then carve out opportunities for people in various spaces, various fields, so that they can excel in their own spaces, so that next time when you're in the British Parliament, you're not there alone, but there's Spiwe, Upindile, who comes from Daveyton, who comes from the township, who's also there advocating for a different thing that speaks to development. So being here, we not only give you training, we not only look for bursaries for you, for employment opportunities, but we also ensure that everyone who's here gets information of what's happening out there, because opportunities are there. It's just a matter of you knowing where to attain that information, and also channeling that information because there's a lot of noise in the internet. There's a lot of things happening at the same time. You sort of don't know what's happening when and how. So how do we then channel the information that you need for your business, for your initiative, for your well-being in one space? So that's
some of our achievements really. So we've been selected as Impact Makers and Creators, which is an initiative by the British Council and Seed Academy. Also Global Shapers, which is a World Economic Forum initiative. We have planted about 120 fruit trees. We've trained 500 people in project management. We've been on Forbes Africa magazine, just speaking about the kind of work that we do. Remind me.
British Parliament, African Union.
Yeah.
We've also trained people with South African National Parks and the Free State.
Yeah.
So we took kids, 300 kids from disadvantaged schools in Gauteng, and then we took them to the Free State to study nature conservation.
Mail and Guardian top 200, top 100 Equality Shining Stars, top 100 Young Mandelas by News 24. Like, we're just grabbing these awards essentially because of the work that we do. So yeah. So come visit us, come say hi when you're in Daveyton or around, come spend time with us, come learn, come educate us, come share information with us. We'd love to have you guys come in here. We also have coffee. We're gonna be selling coffees and cappuccinos. So yeah, I would love to just have you guys here.
Yeah, because also, more than anything, this space is for young people to express themselves. And what's sort of like a gap for us is how do we then bring knowledge from elderly people and younger people into one space where they can teach each other. So more than anything, we need young people that are informed in certain spaces to come into the space, so that, I don't know if we need to create a knowledge depository where people submit information so that we can continuously circulate information about our township, but where we're coming from, where we're going as a society, so that we can continuously engage in knowledge systems that will empower young people, empower black people. Because, for the longest of time it's been said that black people don't read. But now that we have opportunities of reading, of having knowledge, of having information, how do we then ensure that we play a role in the knowledge economy by carving out stories, our own stories, and telling it to the next generation? Because the next generation will not know about you if Daveytontv doesn't exist.
Exactly.
But Daveytontv exists because they have to tell our stories. So how do we then ensure that we aid Daveytontv with the information that they need to continuously develop content that speaks to the development of our society?
So we are at 7175 Simelane Street in Daveyton, 1520. You can find us on social media. So Twitter and Instagram, it's at Rudo Institute. Facebook and LinkedIn, it's Rudo Institute. Our email address is info@rudoinstitute.org. My number is 0670929558. Kwandile's number is 081-538-7603. I got it right. Yeah, our operation hours Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. sharp.